Guys, Jared from Wave to Wave here, and this is episode 6 of Project Activator, and there's a few good things happening with the boat, and then some other stuff that we're going to talk about that has to do with the engines we're going to choose. Obviously, there's a big announcement from Mercury Racing and Mercury Marine about some of the new engines, so we want to talk about those because those are on the table now. So first off, let's take a look at the boat and see what we've done so far.
Okay, so here we are inside. The bulkheads have been glassed in. Moving up to the front here. You can see it's been glassed in at the bottom. And you can see where the old bulkhead was here. See what little room there is for the fuel tank, not a lot. If you look here underneath the boat, we're looking at the notch right now, and it's about 7, maybe 8 inches deep. So it's actually not a huge notch, which is why I'm not sure if we're going to fill it in yet, because it just might not make sense. And depending on which engine we go with, we may actually have and want quite a bit of setback. So yeah, that's not a priority right now to think about, but you can see it there.
So we're moving along nice and steady, and I think one thing that we have to remember is that Mark gets really busy at the shop, and one thing that helps us keep going is this delicious 12-ounce coffee, $1.75 at Dunkin Donuts. So there's something about the Dunkin Donuts coffee that's a little better than most. It's freshly brewed every morning. It doesn't stand for less than 3 hours or more than 3 hours. It's delicious, has a little extra caffeine, a little extra kick. I don't know how they do it, but it's amazing. So that's what keeps us going. So back to the boat. In general, we're gonna lay out the boat so that the center of gravity is very much the same as it was when it was stock. So the tank's gonna get a little bit smaller. It'll be positioned pretty much maybe slightly more ahead than it was before, but because of the smaller size, it won't really affect the CG that much. And if you go back to one of our articles earlier, probably about 2 months ago, we talked a lot about center of gravity, but more importantly is the dynamic center of gravity. That's actually the most critical part of the boat setup and actually how the boat's going to operate in the water and at high speed. So as you go faster and things change dynamically, your center of gravity changes in effect. So when you raise your engine, you reduce drag, which affects your dynamic center of gravity and so forth, and the prop and everything else. So your static center of gravity is one thing, and it's certainly a huge component, but the more adjustable and fine things are the dynamic center of gravity effects, setback, engine height, prop, things about the boat balance, all those kinds of things. So we'll look at that, do some math and figure all that out. So on to the engines. One thing about the engines that were just announced recently was that Merc has moved to their whole V6 and V8 platform based on a 4-stroke technology. And it's pretty exciting. It is, they're very competitive, if not more competitive than the ones that they're replacing. So they're more fuel efficient, they're about the same weight. Everything to like about them. There's a lot of new technology. The racing products have an HD version that has a new bracket and multiple gear case options. That's really awesome. The 250R, which is more like what we'd be looking at, is mechanical, and it's got a Sportmaster only. So there's a few things that make it less exciting. It's a pretty basic version it's a sort of toned down version of 300 and just all the basic options. So it's still compelling. We'll have to figure out the pricing and see how that works for us and whatnot. So I think what I'd add to that though is that we're going to put some other engines on the table, just because, given the budget and given the variety of engines out there, there's a few examples that I want to give. And one is the Yamaha V MAX SHO. And I want to look at the 225 horse because that's sort of, given the budget and performance we're expecting out of the boat, 225 is perfect for us, I think. Will we go 250? Maybe. Will we go to 200? That's a possibility too. So it comes down to budget, comes down to a few things. So the 225 and the big block V MAX SHO Yamaha, I didn't mention it before, but it actually is a compelling engine because a few things about it that are weak points are pretty easy to solve. So with solid mounts, that's actually a very similar engine in a lot of ways to these new Mercs, and then it's a large displacement, double overhead cam design, and it's a torque monster. It's a really powerful engine. has a low water pickup already. So with just that one addition of the solid mounts, which is its biggest weak link, you have a very competitive engine there that's priced pretty well. They've been on the market for about 8 years now, 7 years, and you sort of know what you're getting. It's a fantastic engine overall. So with the addition of the Yamaha, I think really realistically it's between the V6 225 Merc, just the basic one, and we'll sort of figure out how we can sort of adjust, maybe put the solid mounts that are from the Mercury Racing version on that engine to make it sort of our own. And then the Yamaha with the solid mounts added, or just the 250R out of the box is hard to beat. So it comes down to those things. The V6 Merc will be the best price value. It'll be digital. It'll have all the things we want, and it'll be the lightest one by actually quite a bit, probably like 50 pounds at the end of the day, if not more. So that's compelling. Another, there's so many options now, but the Pro XS version of that V8 Merc now comes in a 200 to 250 and 300 horsepower if you want. But they're a little lighter than the racing versions, and the few reasons why is that gear case is a little bit lighter, and the cowling on the Pro XS they made a lot lighter. So that's actually interesting, is that they're 505 pounds. They're almost exactly what the old Pro XSs were. So going to a 225 Pro XS would save us probably a couple $1,000s, if not more, and give us probably almost the same performance minus the features that the R has, which is the solid mounts and the gear case. So let me know what you think about those engine options. I'm kind of leaning more towards either the 250R or the V MAX SHO with some solid mounts added to it. I think those are the two best options right now. And one thing about that Yamaha, I think we'd probably paint the midsection. I hate that two-tone color it has. And I've seen them paint it all one color and it looks way better. So that's one other thing. Oh yeah, and if you haven't already, tell a friend about the project who you think might be interested in it, and subscribe below. Hit the subscribe button, follow along, leave us your comments, tell us what you think about the engine choices and whatnot. We'd love to hear about it. So yeah, looking forward to seeing you guys next week on Project Activator. Thanks.